Good morning and thanks very much once again for joining us here in Davos for our live coverage from the World Economic Forum's annual meeting. The headlines are breaking courtesy President Trump. The news cycle is hot. My coffee not so much because it is freezing cold here in Davos. It is very early in the morning as we kickstart the day. But as I promised, this is a Trump Davos and it is turning out to be exactly that. What we have seen President Trump say just a few moments ago is that he is going to do two important things. One, he is going to be meeting with European leaders on the issue of Greenland and perhaps even more. He's had a call with the NATO General Secretary. Post that call, Trump says that there is an agreement to sit across the table and discuss, but he's not backing down from his ambition to take Greenland. He's made it clear that the US needs Greenland, not just for its own security, but for the world's security. So that is very clear. President Trump making that reiteration here ahead of his arrival. He will, of course, arrive in Davos tomorrow, which is Wednesday. There is going to be a reception with business leaders. And the second important thing that President Trump is going to do, and in a way, this is perhaps the most significant, most relevant World Economic Forum meeting in years that I've been attending. The second most important thing that President Trump is going to do here is get people to sign up for his Charter Board of Peace, which is essentially the plan that they had put forward for Gaza. That has run into controversy because while it has people like the former Prime Minister Tony Blair, British Prime Minister Tony Blair, Ajay Banga of the World Bank, and of course many other officials of the US government as part of it, there are concerns around membership fee. There are concerns about who is going to be on that board. Interesting that President Trump has in fact invited President Putin to be part of the Board of Peace. Prime Minister Modi, of course, has also been given an invite by President Trump. So far, what we have seen, and that's another headline that's breaking here this morning, President Trump going after France because President Macron and France has been quite clear about the fact that they don't intend to, at this point in time, join the Board of Peace because of the concerns that they have. And that has led President Trump to speak of tariffs on French wine and champagne. That is what the headlines are suggesting at this point in time. So the tariff threat continues to loom large. So two important developments that have taken place. One, there is going to be a meeting with European leaders here that President Trump will have on the issues pertaining to, of course, Greenland. Remember, so far we've seen a pretty united response coming in from Europe, European leaders standing up and saying that this is unacceptable. In fact, Keir Starmer separately held a press conference in the UK and also did make it clear that while they may not necessarily be part of the retaliatory tariff proposal that EU leaders are contemplating, but they do stand in solidarity with the EU on the issue of Greenland. So that's going to be important to watch out for. All the action on that front will start on Wednesday, and of course Thursday President Trump continues to be here. 10:30 a.m. is when that Board of Peace Charter is expected to be inked here in Davos. Well, outside of that, some of the other headlines coming in here continue to be around artificial intelligence and what AI is likely to do as far as global growth is concerned. And that is, of course, something that we've heard many of our Indian tech CEOs as well as global CEOs that we've been speaking to speak of. Many people that we had, including some of the largest asset managers in the world, Jenny Johnson of Franklin Templeton, still seem pretty sanguine as far as growth prospects are concerned. And most people do believe at this point in time that talk around an asset bubble, perhaps not legitimate or warranted, because if you take a look at the Mag 7, the belief is that the price to earnings ratios still good, and also the fact that there is a fundamental shift towards AI. So that's the consensus view so far in Davos. Of course, the other big developments that we are going to watch, and there is no clarity yet on whether there will be a Supreme Court ruling on tariffs on the 20th, which is today. The expectation is that there could be a ruling, but we're not sure yet. We still don't have a confirmation on that because the court doesn't tell you whether on what matter they intend to rule. So it is going to be interesting to see. But, Kenneth Rogoff put his money on Kevin Hassett as the next Fed chief. Will it be Hassett or will it be Kevin Walsh? Well, those are some of the other questions that are up for discussion and conversation here. Today is going to also be the launch of the India Pavillion. You'll have Ashwini Vaishnaw. In fact, we're walking closer to the India Pavillion, and you will see Ashwini Vaishnaw, Prahlad Joshi, and some of the other government functionaries inaugurating the India Pavillion today. There is, of course, going to be the big CNBC TV 18 India Impact Summit curtain raiser with the IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw, Salil Parekh of Infosys, K. Krithivasan of TCS, and Rishad Premji of Wipro, and in attendance a lot of other Indian CEOs and global CEOs. So that's also slated to take place later this evening. We're just about to cross DP World, and remember yesterday there was a bilateral in Delhi, a very short, quick bilateral between the UAE and Prime Minister Modi, and as part of that, DP World is one of the companies that is expected to set up in GIFT City. And GIFT City's CEO Sanjay Kaul was with us here in Davos yesterday, and he talked about the fact that GCCs will be the big theme for the GIFT City this year. Here we are. This is the India Pavilion right next to where we are, and this is where in just a short while from now the inauguration will take place at the India Pavilion in the presence of the IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw and of course Prahlad Joshi and some of the other government functionaries who are here. This is, as I pointed out, this is the venue for all states excluding Andhra Pradesh. So right here you have Maharashtra, Telangana, Assam, which is making its debut here in Davos. You've got Kerala, you've got Madhya Pradesh, again a newbie in Davos, all here in the India Pavilion. Andhra Pradesh is of course at the Belvedere, and they have a bunch of bilaterals slated to take place later today. It's still not sunrise here in Davos, but as you can see, things start pretty early. This is a village which is converted into the epicenter of global action through the course of this week every year. There's about 3,000 people here for the entirety of this week. About 850 global CEOs and about 400 government functionaries from around the world. According to the World Economic Forum, this is the largest representation of government leaders that the World Economic Forum has seen, and of course we've got that big representation from the US with President Trump being accompanied by senior government secretaries Howard Lutnick, Chris Wright, Scott Bessent, Jameson Greer, the USTR. They're all going to be here with President Trump when he arrives in Davos tomorrow. That's Wednesday. So we'll keep bringing you all the action here, but two big developments that I wanted to point out. One, of course, is the Board of Peace Charter. That is now going to be signed here in Davos, and of course that crucial meeting between President Trump and EU leaders on the future of Greenland. I'm going to toss it back to you for now and keep coming back with more updates. Stay tuned to CNBC TV 18. This is your Davos headquarters.